Moments when the Vietnam War went crazy, distilled from Apocalypse Now, one of the most eagerly awaited films of the year, and one of 4 new films we'll be reviewing on Sneak Previews, 2 film critics looking at the new movies in town. Across the aisle from me is Gene Siskel, the film critic of the Chicago Tribune.
And this is Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, in addition to Apocalypse Now, which we're going to have a big disagreement about, so a slight division, a bigger division now when we talk about one of the most talked about films in years, Francis Coppola's Vietnam War film, Apocalypse Now. It's almost been 10 years in the making, one of the first Vietnam War films conceived, but yet it's going to be one of the last big ones, I'm afraid, to be released. It's the story of a young Army captain, Martin Sheen, being sent up a river to Cambodia to kill a renegade Army colonel, Marlon Brando, who's been disobeying orders and has set up his own jungle kingdom. Now, Martin Sheen is a bit surprised when he encounters the cavalier attitude of the soldiers accompanying him up the river.
The President of the United States, baby. That's what I'm doing. Hey, Sheriff, put the cover on that. Clean.
How long has that kid been on this boat?
7 months.
He's really specializing in busting my...
Very possible, Captain. He thinks the same of you.
Oh, yeah? What do you think, Chief?
I don't think. My orders say I'm not supposed to know where I'm taking this boat, so I don't. But one look at you and I know it's gonna be hot, wherever it is.
We're going upriver about 75 clicks above the Dolong Bridge.
That's Cambodia, Captain.
That's classified. We're not supposed to be in Cambodia, but that's where I'm going. You just get me close to my destination and I'll cut you and the crew loose.
All right, Captain.
Farther up the river, Sheen encounters a warmongering Army Colonel, Robert Duvall, who says he loves the smell of napalm. He says it smells like victory. And he also loves to play Wagner over his helicopter's loudspeaker while leading his men into battle.
We've got it spotted.
Big Duke 60, Eagle thrust. Put on heading 270. Assume attack formation.
That's a roger, Big Duke. Okay, we're going to launch. Here we go.
We'll come in low out of the rising sun, and about a mile out, we'll put on the music.
Music?
Yeah, I use Wagner. It scares the hell out of the slopes. My boys love it.
Hey, we're going to play music. How come all you guys sit on your helmet?
Don't get a phone off.
Big Duke 60, Eagle thrust. Put on War off. Make it loud. This is a Romeo Foxtrot. Shall we dance? You know, yes, sir.
Well, so far, the film's anti-war attitude is clear, but it gets awfully murky when Sheen finally makes it all the way up the river. He's placed in a bamboo prison by Marlon Brando's followers and is lectured by one of them, Dennis Hopper.
There's something happening out here, man. You know something, man? I know something that you don't know. That's right, Jack. The man is clear in his mind, but his soul is mad. Oh, yeah. He's dying, I think. He hates all this. He hates it. But the man's, he reads poetry out loud, all right? And a voice. A voice. He likes you because you're still alive. He's got plans for you. No, no. I'm not gonna help you. You're gonna help him, man. You're gonna help him.
Well, he's certainly been screwed up by the war. Now, this is a very big film that tries to say a lot of conventional things about the war, about the arrogance of our war effort. That part of the film is very colorful, impressive, sometimes even memorable. But Apocalypse Now is also after a much bigger target, nothing less, I think, than a speculation on the nature and source of good and evil in the world, how the war came about. On that score, I think it fails completely. The Brando character, who we wait for 2 hours to meet, has nothing to say, and we walk out of Apocalypse Now wondering, what's the big deal?
I thought it was a pretty good deal. I think that right here we have one of the more fundamental disagreements we've ever had in doing this show. I think, first of all, as a broad statement, Apocalypse Now is a very good film, very much worth seeing. Then to address myself more to what you said, I think the ending of this film is going to be debated for the next 50 years, whether or not the Brando character works, whether the last half hour works. I think we can save ourselves a lot of time if I admit to you right now that although I think the last half hour works, I doubt if I can ever convince you of that, and that the first 2 hours of the film are certainly among the most, consist of some of the most beautiful, heartbreaking, tragic, memorable footage of war that I've ever seen.
And you're referring to things like the helicopter with the music.
Yes,
Let me tell you,
right.
Raj, that I don't think it's such a big achievement to make a heart-rending film about Vietnam. I think that America is so conflicted about the war. The people who served feel bad about it. The people who didn't serve feel bad about it. The people who didn't stop it. I think that you can show almost anything to do with Vietnam and people feel, oh my God, the human waste.
That may be true, but on the other hand, this movie is made on such an epic scale. The filmmaking is so good. The performances, particularly by Martin Sheen and Robert Duvall, are so good that we don't see stuff like this every day. This is an extraordinary event.
I wish that I could say that to you. There's a couple of times when my heart was broken in a special way, when one guy kills a Vietnamese woman. But other than that, I thought this was the same old standard Vietnam stuff, yes, done on a bigger scale with a bigger budget, but the big payoff, and this is the ending is unfortunately there. There is a journey up the river, and we get there. Brando has nothing.
The ending didn't work for you. It worked more for me. I think that essentially the two of us are representing the two basic attitudes toward this film. Some people think the ending doesn't work and it's just another war movie. Other people think that it transcends other war movies. It's a little better, a little more brilliant, a little more important. I'm in that camp.
Okay, and I guess I'm saying to people, if they go and they wonder what the heck is the ending about, I'm with them. I wondered too. We strongly split on Francis Coppola's Vietnam film, Apocalypse Now. Roger thinks it's a brilliant film on the Vietnam War. I think it's a big disappointment, a film that loses its clarity and conviction at the very end. Roger says yes, I say no.